Today on the show, after watching Quiet on the Set, a documentary exposing Nickelodeon for the obvious grooming operation, Josh, it's finally time to admit your parents were actually right to not let you watch the Rugrats growing up. Thanks, Mom.
Is there actually proof that Star Wars did in fact happen a long time ago in a galaxy far? You get it.
There actually is proof, Josh, and I'm going to show it to you. And we were very vulnerable last week, Josh, about the podcast and our channel, and the response was huge. So we'll talk about all the nice and the not so nice comments that we received.
All this and more on episode 49 of the Blimey Con podcast. Jordan, in Romania, if you squat 20 times, you get a free bus ride.
No way.
This is real.
You know, I saw something like this in Japan, but it was like you got a certain amount of money off if they have like poles close together at this buffet, and if you could squeeze between a pole, then you got 5% off. If it was a smaller pole, it was like 50% off, and everyone does it. So you got like these tiny women like getting 60% off.
They know their clientele because they know the smaller people can't eat as much.
Oh, you're right.
What they
got
gotta watch
nothing to do with health.
No,
it's like they can't eat that much. You know how many people probably pass by this and just like, no, not today.
Do you think so?
Oh, yeah.
Man,
Probably
that feels like such a no-brainer to me.
Well, I know. You'd think, Josh.
It feels a little dystopian, but at the same time,
I don't even care anymore.
If we're gonna live in the dystopia, at least let's be in shape. All right, that way we can at least put up a fight. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Blimey Cow podcast. Every Friday, we try to make the world a little less messy. My name is Josh.
And I'm Jordan. Comment below with your answer to this week's incredible question. I just came up with this, and I don't know the answer to it myself. Would you rather read Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey? Which would you suffer through?
If you want a free Blimey Cow t-shirt, then head over to supportblimeycow.com. When you join, you get a free Blimey Cow shirt as our way of saying thank you. You guys are what make this show possible. We want to give our supporters an exclusive segment of the podcast too, so that's what we do every month. Head over to supportblimeycow.com for the free shirt and the bonus segment of the podcast.
And we also do bonus messages as well.
Bonus messages as well. All kinds of stuff.
And we've actually revamped our Instagram account, Josh. It's blowing up. People love it. We just made our thing saying that we don't care about Instagram, and I said, you know what? I'm going to try. I posted a reel about messages, and everyone is like, look, I deconstructed my life, and now I'm going to watch Blimey Cow again because I just saw this reel. So maybe we'll save them.
Join the best community on the internet and this new one that Jordan is building on Instagram, allegedly. That's very exciting. Thank you to Tessia
Jurassic
Check. I'm sure they've got that before.
Oh, of course they have. I'm here making terrible jokes.
Robin L, Tiffany Russell, Christian Sutherland, Alex Zioli, Caleb Thetford, and Richard Barrios. Jordan, I agree. The people that join they have interesting names.
Well, Richard, I'm sure he's gotten Richard Cheerios.
Barrios. Berry Cheerios?
I'm not making the joke. I'm prophesying on what they're gonna understand. They're like, dude, I have gotten that a lot.
I don't think that's a prophecy. That's like a
backhanded. Like,
it's a reverse. Did this happen? You're like a fortune teller.
Were you made fun of for your height growing up?
I'm seeing Cheerios. Yeah, because my name is Barrios. Thanks. I knew that.
Don't forget to check out the Clips channel. Everything you love about this podcast without the time commitment. New clips uploaded every single day at Blimey Cow Clips on YouTube.
Please check that out.
Guys, we've got another fan of the show with a really awesome project. We've been promoting some fans of the show, just these projects that they're doing.
Hey, hold on. You promote just like fans of the show doing stuff? I got something too.
Our new friend Amy Lynn sent us some issues of the magazine that she publishes called Clean Fiction, and it is awesome. If you're interested in reading a Christian-based publication that reviews and promotes both religious fiction as well as clean secular fiction, Josh, Clean Fiction is the magazine you didn't realize that you needed.
When Amy Lynn emailed us and told us about this, I was like, yes, 1,000%. I wish this existed when I was growing up, and I love it now.
I don't know how long it took her to curate all of this Christian fiction. She writes out exactly what it's about, where you can get it, what the genre is, and everything.
Yeah,
it's
and there's even like content explanations, like, hey, this age might need to be aware of this kind of thing. Sort of like a I don't know, like Plugged In does movie reviews or whatnot.
Yeah, but it's for clean fiction.
Yes.
It's genius.
They have a digital version of the magazine, but if you want it, they have a legit physical version that can be mailed to you once every quarter. I mean, check this thing out.
It's like just continual. It's where she even find all of these?
The magazine strives to place amazing clean fiction in the hands of those who would enjoy it. They specialize in indie fiction and small presses, so you'll always be finding out about new books that you wouldn't have heard about otherwise.
These pages contain book reviews from genre-specific reviewers, plus there are really cool serial stories from the independent authors, devotions, poetry, and articles about various missions.
They also host contests each quarter too, so it's a really fun community to be a part of. The summer cover art contest has community voting, which starts on April 29th.
If you want to check it out, Clean Fiction is offering Blimey Cow fans a free digital version of the magazine
for the next 4 Fridays. So you have to go to the Amazon link on the day that this releases or on upcoming Fridays, and you will find a free link on Amazon to get the magazine. So if you want to check it out for free, we suggest just going and subscribing on the website. Get the physical version. But if you want to just check it out, go down to the Amazon link in the description and you can check it out there.
For the next 4 Fridays, yes. It's an amazing publication, and this is the kind of thing that we love to promote and support. Seriously, we really, really enjoy it. It's an amazing idea, and from a fan of Blimey Cow, so there you go.
Click the link in the description to get a free digital version of Clean Fiction. Today only, though, okay? Make sure that you check it out on Friday. And then head over to cleanfictionmagazine.com to find everything you need to get plugged into this amazing magazine. Thank you, Amy Lynn, for sponsoring. And if anybody else has a project and they like our show, get in touch.
Get in touch.
Okay.
This Friday and the next 3 Fridays after this, right?
There we go. That's the correct.
Blimey Con sales have been going very well, Josh, and we're so excited to do this. And I hope that more of you sign up so that we can play volleyball together.
If you're interested in coming to Blimey Con this year, we just announced it a week or 2 ago, September 20th to the 22nd. Head on down to Nashville, Tennessee, I guess specifically Franklin, Tennessee.
Yes.
Fly in. We'll have shuttles from the airport or just drive in. I think a lot of people are going to be driving in.
Yep.
But we'd love to see you. It's going to be a blast. I have been very encouraged by the number of people that have signed up already. May 16th is when the early bird sale ends. So the best price for Blimey Con is right now. And that ends on May 16th. So go get your ticket. We would love to see you here. We're going to go to camp. It's Blimey Camp.
You get 5 meals included. Limited edition Blimey Con 2024 t-shirt, a goodie bag with Blimey Cow merch, all activities throughout the weekend, minus zip lining and laser tag.
Those are extra.
But you're going to want to do
everybody has signed up for those so far. Believe it or not. Yeah, everybody.
How many have they?
Half and half, zip line and laser tag. So nailed it. Crushed that.
Yeah, Josh and I were trying to figure out what to do, and we said, you know what, gut feeling, zip lining, laser tag.
Yeah, come on down. Go to blimeycow.com/BlimeyCon2024, and you'll be hearing more about that in the months to come. But if you want to get the best price for your ticket, do it right now. Bear attack!
Yeah, at the party yesterday, it was Josh's child's party yesterday, and I hear Kelly talking about the story about a bear because they were gone in like Gatlinburg
we went to
area.
Gatlinburg.
And I was like, somehow I came out of the bathroom. I'm like, somehow I know I'm not supposed to be hearing this right now because Josh is going to tell me this later. And then I hear Josh walking. He sees me coming. He's like, yeah, I was going to tell Jordan this on the podcast. So, just. And I was like, you're right.
Jordan woke up the morning we were leaving the cabin. Mm-hmm. Guess what?
There was a bear.
Well, we didn't see the bear.
Oh.
The door to our van was opened. Snacks strewn everywhere.
It opened the door.
Wow. Got in, didn't scratch up the car or do anything, but just, opened Larabar.
Did it eat it?
It ate it. It tried to get some bags of chips or something open. Couldn't do that. Tossed them away. Like you could watch the whole story of what the bear did. It got to the cookie. It got to the Larabar. Couldn't get the chips. And then I'm like looking down into the forest and there's like just a strewn bags of things it couldn't get opened or like ripped. It's like, I'm out of here. So then we're like, wow, holy cow, can't believe this happened. So we're packing up the car. We're like, did we tell the kids what happened? I don't know. Went to start the car to leave. Car wouldn't start because the door And the light had been on all night. And I realized that last time I went to Valvoline, they said, your battery health on your car is poor. Do you want us to replace that? And I was like, you guys always say
just a
something.
regular oil change.
Just give me the oil change. I have a coupon.
Don't change my filter either.
Yeah, don't change. Look at your filter.
Look at your air filter. It doesn't look so bad,
Well,
it's like
I need to replace this.
Yeah, it's like getting health insurance. And then you're like, this is ridiculous, man. Why is it so much money? And then you have some catastrophic thing. You're like, thank God I was paying that. Thank God, man. They really came in clutch. It was worth it.
Oh.
So did you tell the kids?
We did. And which of my children do you think was mortified by this news?
Isaac, terrified. Elliot, greatest day of his life.
Flip it around.
Really?
Isaac was pumped. Elliot was like, it was the first time he was actually scared of something.
Well, that is surprising because he's not scared of anything.
I know. In fact, we got him a hat that he had picked out.
That had a bear on it?
That had a bear on it. He had picked it out before this happened.
Oh,
so
no.
he picks it. He's like, it's for you, Daddy. He tried to play it off like, I'm not scared.
Comedic timing there.
Yeah. Anyways, so we're okay. The people who run the cabin or whatever came and gave us a jump.
We're in such a low trust society. The other day I was at Kroger and there was a guy who his car, he just had so much stuff in his car. And his wife was walking up and they looked disheveled. Like just not in the moment, but just as human beings. And he was like, man, he like walked up to me and was like, man, can you jump my car? And I was like, I looked at him and I was thinking in my mind, I saw him in Kroger. I remember passing him. And so I was like, this isn't somebody just faking me out. I actually walked around with this guy. So I was like, I will help you.
Oh, you did? Okay, you did help.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
I would have helped him even if I was suspicious and I would have gotten mugged and my car taken. I was like, I tried.
I hate when my battery won't start because I think, man, I got to ask someone for help because I don't want to. I am always worried about when people are like, hey, can you give me a jump? I'm like,
I don't think you look like the kind of guy who's going to like hurt somebody and steal their vehicle.
I know, but I just always think I'm suspicious of everybody. So I hate to like put someone else in that position.
I could tell he felt awkward. And then I thought, you know what? This is kind of sad because we really are in such a low trust society.
You were trying to make it a little bit higher trust.
I was, but I was,
good for you.
There was another time, Josh, there was this kid on the side of the road and his car was like smoking like crazy.
Oh,
and he said that he was asking for help and people were just flipping him off. And I pulled over and he was an Amazon. He had an Amazon shirt on and there's an Amazon facility right like 2 seconds away. And his car was old and looked like it had just been blown up. And so I was like, okay, this equates. There's an Amazon city. He's not trying to do anything. Like that would have been such a high, like 4D chest.
If you
want to buy an Amazon shirt,
if you are gonna mug me, take my money. I'm
it was
impressed.
like genius.
I'm honestly impressed.
So I got out and helped the dude for like 10 minutes, but his car was like completely destroyed. I was like, dude, your car is destroyed. And he was like, yeah, I know. And so I just left. I didn't know. And he said, my brother's coming. And I was like, all right. So 2 times high trust society here. I'm out here trying to get mugged, and it hasn't happened yet. So we're good.
You're putting yourself out there.
I am.
The world is teaching you that maybe it's not as bad as you think.
Well, I felt bad because he's like, I've literally gotten flipped off by multiple people when I asked him. I was like, are you making this up?
These people have Amazon packages on their porch as they're flipping him off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, dude, screw them. That's sad.
Last news story.
Oh, right. We've got 3.
Tomorrow, I am running a marathon.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Do the math,
tomorrow.
Man.
Sorry. Like we're filming
Do
Monday.
The math.
I was like, we have one more day of rest.
I mentioned on the podcast when I did my last half marathon that halfway through it, I was like, I don't think I want to do another half marathon. I'm going to do a full marathon next time.
He did say that.
And you know what? Just while I was up in Gatlinburg,
It's getting you over. You were out of frame a little bit. It's fine.
What?
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm editing this week.
Okay.
I was trying to help myself out.
I was in Gatlinburg, up in the mountains, and I ran for 3 hours. It took me 3 hours to go 16 miles, but that was what you 16. And I discussed. That should be my last kind of prep, was see if you can just do a 3 hour run. And after doing that run, which was like the inclines are insane, the downhills are insane. It was I thought this felt like the equivalent of a marathon. So we'll see if I'm.
What
if
was
I'm
the
right.
elevation gain? You sent it to me?
I sent it to you. I don't remember. It was thousands. But I could have kept going. I just stopped because I was like,
Yeah.
That's the thing about like prepping for a marathon is like, they say that you shouldn't run for like more than 90 minutes.
On any normal.
Just any normal
Yeah,
human.
yeah.
You shouldn't run more than 90 minutes.
Right.
So it's like any prep you do is like, well, look, I'm going to try this one time. If it doesn't work, my body is more important than like achieving this arbitrary goal.
Yeah, I'm going to do the unhealthy thing one time.
Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, so even doing 3 hours is like, I know this isn't like the most healthy thing, but I at least needed to like let my body know, hey,
next time we're going to run 4 hours.
I know we've done 2 hours before. And it's so funny. It's so weird how like at the moment that I hit both the longest in terms of duration.
Oh, your brain just shuts like
my
we're
brain
done.
just said
we're done.
We've done enough now. And I said, no, we're not even close. We got 40 more minutes to go because I think the longest run I've ever done up to that point was actually up in the mountains because it took me 2 hours and 20 minutes to run a half marathon. I did it one time up in the mountains. That's happening tomorrow. Will I succeed? How long will it take if I succeed? And what's next should I take?
Yeah, dude, just take a ton of molasses.
You told me, but how I don't want to carry
you.
a bunch of stuff.
Dude, it's like tiny. It's like little tiny things.
All right. I was thinking about maybe bringing a few dates.
That would be good.
Do you think that would be good?
Oh yeah.
But they give you tons of water. They'll give you Gatorade. Should I have Gatorade, Jordan?
Sure.
Or should I take like little chewable electrolyte tablets that you would normally dissolve in water? I just could pop it in my mouth and suck on it.
No, I wouldn't. I would. You don't know what would happen to that.
I've done it before.
I would just drink the Gatorade if it's there. 100%.
With a high fructose corn syrup?
It's just down it. Whatever.
Wow.
Just try and get through it.
Wow. All right. Do you think
that's what if that's all you've got, that's what you've given. Don't just drink water. If it's between water and Gatorade, we're drinking the Gatorade today. That day.
So
tomorrow.
maybe dates and Gatorade?
Yeah, and I would take some of the molasses.
And you want some molasses? Okay, you want me to have some molasses? Do you think I'll be able to complete a marathon?
Oh yeah,
honestly, you really think I will?
Yeah.
Wow, thanks, buddy.
I think it'll probably take you 4 hours.
Yeah, if I can do it in 4 hours,
and 10. I'll say 4 hours and 10.
4:10. All right, that'll be my goal. I'll try to do it faster than 4 hours 10.
Because that's about a 10-minute mile, and so you've been doing the half marathons at 8-minute miles.
8.5.
8.5.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be 10:30.
Yeah.
That you're running that or 11.
If I can do it
it depends on what happens the last hour.
That's the unknown.
From hour to 3 to 4.
Right.
That's the unknown.
Place your predictions below. How fast or slow will I do it?
That was 3 top stories, the longest ever, but I feel like it was good.
It's meme review.
Hard times create nicotine men. Nicotine men create good times. Good times create weed guys. Weed guys create hard times. Yeah.
I texted you this.
Yeah, I mean, this was an all-timer.
This is a classic.
The man in this photo was taken in 1946. This guy is Ken Shimizu. He is 35 years old. He has 2 children. Shimizu never runs, sleeps late, eat whatever he wants, even drink beer instead of water, eat dinner with many kinds of food every night. What does Shimizu do to get such a body? Shimizu doesn't have any secrets. Shimizu is the person sitting in the bottom left corner of the photo. As for the man standing in the middle, I'm not sure.
I said that to everybody. So and by everybody, I say everybody. I said that to all my family members.
Exactly.
The question, did that happen, begs the question, what do you mean by happen? Because when you are dealing with fundamental realities and you pose a question, you have to understand that the reality of the concepts of your question, when you're digging that deep, are just as questionable as what you're questioning.
That really made me laugh. Now this next one, just an all-timer.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Katrina. And my name is Hugh. I'm Sarah. I'm Emma. And I'm Joan to you.
John to you. How did she do that with her body?
Do you think this is real or is this like a parody?
No, this is from the 70s.
Really?
There's
She's like, I'm just gonna casually dislocate my shoulder.
like what? This is real. I don't know what it is.
Were the memes Christian this week? No.
That last one kind of was.
I
That's how
guess
you feel in
that's
youth
fair
group.
enough. I guess that's fair enough.
Like dislocated. Hi, Jordan and Josh. I've been really angry and anxious lately. You see, I'm 23 years old and I still live at home with my parents. Although this is the norm this day and age, I hate it. I have been saving up money for the last 5 years so I can build a house on some land I inherited from my grandfather. Don't get me wrong, I am super blessed and most of the time I'm thankful for this opportunity, given the state of our economy. I'm just tired. Saving 70% of what I make a month for a house that might not get done this year like I hoped. I am so ready to move out and be independent. I have a bunch of dreams that I know aren't promised to me, but I hope to accomplish while I'm still young. I want to travel and serve other people. I want to pursue my hobbies. I feel like I'm constantly on a treadmill, all work and no reward. What do you do when you feel stuck, and frustrated to no end? Sincerely, S. At the beginning of this, I was like, I feel empathetic to the situation. And I was like, I inherited this from my grandfather. I'm like, dude, get a tent. Like, what a great, you want adventure? Get a pop-up camper off of Craigslist.
Yeah.
And hook up some electricity and like figure it out. Like you can do that.
Get yourself a generator. Like a solar generator?
Yeah, it's possible these days.
That would be so fun.
And you've got Wi-Fi because of Elon. I mean, literally, like that's the adventure. That's what you're gonna tell your kids. Like, yeah, my grandfather's land. I didn't wait. Like, I just moved out and like I bought a crappy camper from Craigslist. Now I'm like, you want to travel? That's the travel. Like, come on. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Look,
buy an old cheap Winnebago.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a little RV.
Buy it.
Yeah. I'm thinking of them because I just, on the way back from Gatlinburg, I saw a new one. I was like, they still make Winnebagos? And it looked awesome. Sell the land, get yourself a Winnebago.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I see people, they want adventure a very specific way. They want, like, this guy's got his life planned out way too much. Mm-hmm. The adventure is right out in front of him. Dude, if I had that and it's like Pop had left me like
land
20 acres, I'd be like, I don't care what I have to do. I'm moving out there right now.
Right.
Like, that's awesome.
And that's you. I think that for this, if this guy really wants like to just be independent, look, this is going to sound like heresy to you.
Sell the land.
And put a down payment on a house.
Yeah.
I mean, I know land isn't as lucrative if it doesn't have property on it, a building, but I don't know. I mean,
get it perked if it's for what you like. Pay the money to get it perked by somebody to see how much house you can put on, how many bathrooms, and then just try and sell it.
What does perked mean?
Like you're going to.
Like you get surveyed in the lot.
This is where the house has to go.
Oh, okay.
This is where because this is probably going to be on septic, I'm assuming. This is where the septic tank should go and the lines go out, and you have to have a separate septic area in case that one goes bad. And so it tells you what your soil properties are, so you know how many field lines you've got. It's a whole thing.
Do you think you ever will do this? I know you want to do this.
Oh, I mean. I hope
it'll be sad that if you never get to, because you know all the stuff.
It would be sad.
Yeah.
It would be sad. But you know what? That's life. Like you just go one day at a time and you see, wow, what's the next thing I can do to maybe get to that? Yeah. What's something I can learn today?
Right.
What's another episode of This Old House I have to watch? you know, watching that show after you kind of have grasped a little bit of the pattern of like construction, it's a completely different experience.
I bet, yeah.
You're actually absorbing stuff, not just like, wow, people do this, people can do it. And then it's just over. It's like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's completely different.
Honestly, I think that what you said sounds fun. Like just get yourself a little RV camper or something and just figure out how to off the grid it for a little bit.
Dude, that'd just be awesome. And I mean, don't even build something big. I mean, I'm just going to ask you the question. If you know how to build something, if you are capable of that, I'm assuming you are, just given the situation, the question, like,
is he going to build the house or does he want a house built?
I don't know.
Because you always hear people say, oh, we're building a house. I'm like, you're not building a house.
Exactly. don't get it twisted. Like you're hiring somebody to do this for you. You know. So if you just build a little bit at a time, just build the slab of concrete, sleep on the slab, then just slowly build it. I don't know.
Man, you're only 23. In some ways, that is old, and in some ways, that is still very young. You've got a lot of time ahead of you. And if you're driven to do what it is you want to do, I think you're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, look, I wouldn't even really suggest doing this, but like if you actually are frustrated to no end, like this is obsessively annoying you, that's the answer. Mm-hmm. That'll give you the independence.
Right.
Every day you'll wake up, you'll think, okay, I want to get out of this RV. I want to get out of this thing. And that will be the motivation that you need. Like, you know, it's like having a deadline, except there's not really a deadline. Yeah. Your life is the deadline at that point.
All right. Not what you expected we were going to say, was it?
No.
That's why you check out this show. Okay.
Deep Thought's got a great one. Josh, The Witness, great game. When you suggested I play it, I played it, beat it in a week because I played way too much.
That's
but
amazing.
I was studying it, and that's because I wanted to build a game. And so I was like, this is similar, like this is such a good puzzle game that it was almost like I was researching it while I was doing it. And I was taking notes of what I wanted to do with mine. But I haven't played games in a while. But I started doing my math again because I have always wanted to do that like kind of self-taught engineering kind of thing. And so I started doing my statics course again, which I stopped doing. That's like one of the first kind of like engineering course that you would do.
Okay. Tell people what statics is. People aren't gonna...
Statics course is like you're studying stuff that's not in motion, like it's not dynamic. It's just stationary, like a structure. Like what's the static properties of the forces that aren't moving but are continually forcing on a foundation or you know concrete, stuff like that. Whereas like more dynamic would be like an airplane and flying through the air.
Sure.
What's the wind like and how is that bending this, and you know. So statics is kind of static thing. That's the point of the name. So I've been doing that course. I found a really good course online, bought the book. I've been going through it. What I've realized, how I'm connecting this to The Witness, I was like, why do I find this so like just interesting? And I was thinking like The Witness is a game where you just walk into a world and there's no instructions. And you just walk up to a little tablet and there's a puzzle on it. And it's a very basic puzzle. And you do the puzzle. And then you walk to the next tablet. And then the puzzle's a little bit more complex. And then you do that puzzle. And then it's this whole world and there's so many puzzles. And then at the final one, it's like these insane puzzles. That it's like, man, no one even taught me how to do this. Like you
can't even believe that you're sitting. And you get to a point where you're sitting there with a notepad. Notepad.
You've written out the rules.
You've written out And also, if somebody walks up, like if Sarah or Kelly would walk up and say, "What are you doing?" Well, okay, so the triangle means that the line can't go here, but this means this, so I can't go around this way.
But you have to pair them up, but not this one.
But this shape, this one, because it's crooked, means that it could be over here. And there's like 1,000 rules, and it was never explained with words.
But there was like a person who created it who knew the rules.
Right.
And so when I was doing math, I'm like, dude, this is the exact same thing. It's like God made this the rules of how everything works, physics, the universe. And I'm sitting here just with these numbers, and sure, I've got a teacher, but somebody had to figure this out for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm reading the rule book that somebody wrote about The Witness, but I'm reading it about math, so I can just like go through it really quickly. But like people they just discovered numbers. Then they discovered, if we add this together, if we if we do this, well, now we can make rockets. Wait, can we live on another planet? Can we? What else is possible? And so now I'm just this dude who's playing this game now, and I'm like, okay, it's like as I'm trying to learn, I'm realizing it's so weird. It's like it literally feels like a game. It's like, okay, in this graph now, because this angle here, now I have to do this so I can get the resultant, but it's like, where did this even come from?
Right. Like
and it's like you can actually do something with it. Like if I keep studying, I'll be able to design different things, like an airplane. I would have that capability.
Yeah.
But it's like not just for. It's not like a game you're just playing for the heck of it. It's like it's a puzzle game that you can actually. It's actually extremely beneficial,
Right?
And can like change the trajectory of your life. And it just hit me like yesterday when I was doing this. I was like, dang, that's so true. It's like God's The Witness game that he was like, okay, now let's see if they can figure out those puzzles.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you're making nuclear weapons. And you're blowing everybody up.
When you do math, that does feel like evidence to me of God versus like, okay, man figured out a way to make sense of things, and so they made 2 + 2 = 4. That's not what it feels like to me. It literally feels like there's just some base level of truth, and we just observe it. And so when you look at math, that is evidence of intelligence or intelligent design. Like I'm not smart for knowing this. This exists whether I understand it or not.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the ultimate puzzle game.
Right.
That somebody created.
Right.
And we're just playing it.
And so now you can get books on statics that's like, here's our understanding of how this works, and this is the best way we know how to explain it.
You enter into the desert world of The Witness, and you're like, I don't know, let's pull out the game guide.
Right.
Somebody's like, here's how you do this. Oh, okay.
Right.
And then you just go through it.
But there are puzzles in The Witness where it could just be like, here's the answer. It is like math in that way. It's like, well, hang on, just because I know the answer doesn't mean that I can now solve another problem.
Yeah, you can't. You could not just be told an answer in that game.
You have to understand the principle
to be able to do the next one.
Right. It really is like
it's exactly like math. It's very interesting.
I'm glad that you understood The Witness in that way, because when I play it now, that's how I think about it. I'm like, this game is an explanation of God. I was talking to Kelly about this the other day. It's the same reason that whenever they asked Jesus anything, he just was like, okay. It's kind of like they would explain a parable. It's like, the only way I can explain this to you is in a story, because your brain can't understand what this really is.
Right.
So
trying to do association.
Yeah, I'm just going to explain, we were talking about like the concept of heaven and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, like, now that my kids are getting old enough to like explain like spirituality and stuff to them, but I'm like thinking about things this way now, where I'm like, oh, The Witness is like such a great explanation of like in math and all these things, but like you can't really explain that to a 4-year-old, you know what I mean? But that's how it is interesting and exciting to me to think about. Versus just like, well, and he created everything, and
right.
I mean, I know it's very simple, but it'll get more exciting the older you get.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, that's really cool. I'm glad you like that. Hey, and also speaking of The Witness, the guy who made The Witness, his first game, Braid, they're putting out an anniversary edition in a few weeks. Yeah, and I think it's going to be playable
on the Mac, because I haven't been able to play
I think so, but I also think that it's going to be playable on Netflix. I think that's what I heard. So you actually won't even have to buy it.
Let's get to good news, bad news.
I just thought this was something you would think was interesting.
You're gonna bring up.
We're gonna talk about the old Rona.
You're gonna bring it up. You're gonna trigger me today.
I was just on Reddit. I've been on Reddit more lately. I don't really know why. I was in the Nashville subreddit, and someone started a post complaining about poor concert etiquette that they've noticed lately. And they mentioned that they thought it's gotten worse since the pandemic. And a lot of people commented and said, yeah, I've noticed this too. That people are just a lot less, they're more rude. They're not as conscientious of the people around them. So they're being loud, or they're heckling, but it was really interesting to see one person mention that. And a lot of, the kind of people that are going to be on the Nashville subreddit. These are not our people.
No.
But they were all agreeing. They said, people get way too drunk, and that made me think about how so many people are now like addicted to alcohol, which made me think about this CDC post that they got completely ratioed.
A sobering reality. A new CDC report reveals a spike in alcohol-related deaths up to 40,000 annually.
Up by 40,000.
Up by 40,000. See what steps everyone can take to reverse this trend.
And all the comments were like, you know why that is, right? You idiots. It's because everybody did what you told them to do, and then they got addicted to alcohol.
Wow.
Anyways, I mean, we've talked before on the podcast that we've noticed that everybody is like, when you go to the store, it feels different now.
Yeah,
you've said that.
People are, you can tell they don't see you as much, and if you have an interaction with, especially with an employee who is expecting that you're going to do one thing and you're not understanding, they will get rude quickly.
Give me an example. What do you mean?
Like today, I was stopped at the FedEx place to drop a package off, and the lady, I was standing in line. They've never had like a self-serve thing ever at this FedEx, and I guess it was new-ish, maybe for the past month, but I haven't been there in a while. Yeah. And she was super nice to like everybody, and then she said, "Oh, what's up?" And I said, "I need to drop this off," and she's like. You could just see in her face before she like turned on like the niceness. She was like, "Okay, you have to come over here," and like just was kind of rude. And then I was like nice back, and then she was like friendly again. But I could see like her like glitch, like oh idiot. Okay, well let's. And then she was nice. It was weird.
Maybe it's like almost a defense mechanism where she thinks, "Oh,
there's gonna be a confrontation."
Yeah, he's gonna be mean to me.
That's what I'm wondering. I didn't. So I was like, I mean, look, it's probably annoying. This probably happens to you all day long for the past month, but you know, which that never happened really before. It was, and maybe it could just be there's a lot of foreign people coming to Nashville that didn't grow up here, and so Nashville was always an extremely friendly place. So maybe it's partially that because everybody wants to live here. I was thinking about that on the way here. I was like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, it feels.
By foreign, you mean like California?
California.
It's hard to divorce because they happen kind of at the same time, like COVID, and then everybody wearing AirPods.
I don't see many people wearing AirPods.
Oh, I see it everywhere.
I don't. I even look, ever since you brought that up, the only people that I see wearing AirPods are single men in their 30s who are just at a place alone. That's the only time I see anybody wearing AirPods
see them
ever.
It doesn't.
I'm out all the time. I don't see it.
It's weird. I don't know.
And I'm literally looking for it because I was like, Josh said that people wearing AirPods all the time. So I'm going to see this all the time.
Do you guys let us know? Do you see people wearing AirPods all the time? I see the employees wearing them all the time.
I see some, but I mean, not like enough that I'm like, dude, this is a pandemic of people wearing AirPods. I don't think like, I don't know.
Okay, so it's been 4 years since COVID. All right, so if you were 15 when COVID happened, you are now an adult. And you're just out there now, you know? And so you didn't get to be around people for a while. Can you imagine being a teenager and all of a sudden you couldn't go see your friends or
from 12 to 16.
Yeah.
Not even that you couldn't see them. It was like, well, I can see them now, but like what are they going to be like?
Right. I know that all that weirdness.
Yeah, for 4.5 years.
I would see I have to put myself in that place because I was in such a position where I was in the ideal position. We had just had a kid. So it was like, okay, well, I'm just going to be being a new dad, regardless of what's going on in the world. But like for you, it was, you know.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I mean, there was no big sweeping change in my life other than that COVID was going on. And it was like, okay, well now I'm still trying to interact with the world.
Right.
Like, what's going to happen?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I found for myself, I feel like when I'm out, I can tend to judge people a lot harder now after COVID. And in my mind, I'm thinking things, I'm like, why am I thinking this about this person?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it literally is because during COVID, I was suspicious of everybody, like, oh, are they going to yell at me today?
Right.
Is this person, okay, I passed every single person. Are they going to yell at me? No, they didn't. Are they going to yell at me? No, are they? Yes, they did. Okay, they looked at me weird. Are they going to? It was just constant. So now it's like trying to deprogram that of like, but now I'm thinking, were you the person who would have done that? Were you the person?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's, and it's just what it is.
Yeah. I wonder if it will alleviate as time goes on, or
I think that I need to get over it because I think that people, there's a lot of people out there who aren't strong. So when like almost everybody, so who kind of like cave, and when somebody's not caving, you know, there's got to be a certain amount of people who don't cave to stuff. And then when everybody else comes around, they then rethink, oh, I was really a jerk to that one guy. That was wrong. Like, I shouldn't have done that, because now we see, like, all this was just, like, this response was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then maybe they think back to that, like, wow, why did I think, even if they didn't say anything, why did I think about that guy like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas so then I'm trying to decompress the opposite, is like, look, I need to forgive these people, because, like, that's just how people are.
Right.
Let's, like, just ratio wise, there's more people who won't do the right thing than there are who will do the right thing. So that's just the law of nature. So just forgive everybody, and just everyone had to learn at a different rate. Yeah. So we're all trying to, like, figure it out at the same time and try and interact in the end. Yeah. So that's what I think. Yeah.
It just makes it hard when it felt for a while like, oh, they're not going to let us do stuff anymore.
And see, and that's the thing. That's where it gets where you can just get bitter and angry at people, because it's like, when it really mattered, if it really came down to it, you were going to make it so that I couldn't travel.
Right.
I couldn't even leave this country if I wanted to, because I couldn't get on a plane and leave.
Right.
If there was another freer country, I couldn't have left, because you were all okay with being able to travel. Yeah. And I was the one who wasn't. And so I was just like, man, I'm hoping that this all chills out so that I can, like, you know, it's hard to relive all that, because it's like you're trying to think about these thoughts that seem crazy now, but at the time it's like, no, I mean, we had no clue what was, if this was ever going to stop.
I wish that I had journaled back then, because I started journaling like in 2021. So it was still going, like, there were still like mask mandates were still, because I remember writing the post like, whoa, Nashville actually reversed it. I didn't think this was ever going to happen.
That's very interesting, because that is funny, because I stopped journaling.
Oh, really? At the same time?
No, a year into COVID. Like, I journaled all through it. So you can see life before, and then it was like, oh, wow, I went to the store, and, like, they're, like, serious, like, about wearing masks and stuff, and like, they're yelling at me. Like, I wrote, like, the first times that this happened.
Wow.
For, like, a long time, and then I just stopped. I was like, I'm not going to write that. Like, every day was just this depressing thing, so I just stopped. And then you started after that. It's very, because I remember on January 1st, 2020, I was like, you know, doing this post, and I was like, you know, 2020, well, I hope that, like, brings a lot of clarity to the world. And then it was like right after that, and that all that happened, and the post started getting really, really, really depressing.
I'm sure they did.
And then now looking back, if I read that, it's like, that was so true, though. That was like what the United States needed to get that clarity. Yeah. Of like, no, they really want to hurt you. Like, the people who are in charge really don't give a crap about you.
I think that honestly, I don't think even, I think a lot of people have woken up, even if it wasn't COVID in particular. I think that was sort of like,
oh yeah, if you watch
the first domino.
Yes, if you watch stories of people who have had interactions at hospitals now, you can feel that even if they were okay with the masks and all this stuff, and like you could tell they were kind of the person who would be going along with a lot of this stuff. That now you can just feel the difference of, oh, I had a bad experience at a hospital. Now it's like, this is called this is a medical gaslighting. This is like these new terminology has like emerged after COVID. You can feel the cynicism more towards when they have a thing, like when they have something bad happen to them, they're like, you can see like, oh, this is proof of what I was thinking, but was like not sure if it was real, but now it actually happened to me. And so now I'm converted to like, that the system is just screwed up. Right. I've seen that a lot.
Yeah. Interesting.
On YouTube, watching people's stories.
I think it goes even beyond like medicine and stuff. I think that people like I don't know, like for example, like they keep passing
to keep giving money
to all these other countries or whatever. And I've never seen the level of frustration.
You've never heard anybody talk about it except for like some libertarians and people who are like, oh, this is ridiculous.
Now everybody is off the boat.
It's awesome.
It's like, man, I don't think without COVID that
no. It was a huge blessing.
And I couldn't even explain why exactly that is, but it feels different now.
It does. It does.
Anyways.
And it feels like government is so slow to change.
Right.
That and they can't change because they've got so many people backing them financially. That's like, look, we know we shouldn't be doing this, but like, you're not going to support us if we don't do this.
Right.
And we need the money.
Like, they're like looking back, like, oh no, the people are. Well, hang on, we can't. We're in this slog. We'll change eventually, but we got. Yeah, you're right.
That's exactly what it feels like. So you see all these clips come out of like politicians doing stuff that it's like clearly you have to know that this is going to blow up on Twitter as like, what are these people doing?
Yeah.
But they still do it like with a straight face. It's like, this has got to change. I mean, there's no way that this is going to keep happening.
It really does feel, it feels like, because now COVID feels like it was 4 years ago. Like it's starting to feel like, okay. And it's hard to remember to put yourself back in that brain space. But at the same time, I think that in 20 years when we're looking back on this, we're going to say, oh yeah, COVID happened and then it was all done. Like within like that, it was over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I hope so.
Anyway, so next time you go to a concert, just think about
whatever we just said.
Whatever we just said. It's changed in a lot of ways, but hopefully it'll be good overall. Conspiracy theory time. Here we go.
Both got one.
Let's start with yours. What is this?
Oh, yeah, I don't even know how I got on this. This is just these things in the background of my mind, and then like something pops up, and I'm like, I gotta look that up. So, Star Wars. Is it actually our real history? Okay. I'm gonna convince you.
Okay.
So, there's people out there who believe, I'm telling you what the world believes, you know, the real fringe. Okay. They believe that George Lucas is an insider and that he actually had inside information about our history, about the past, our interstellar, intergalactic history. Okay. You know, we've got pyramids on Mars. We've got faces on Mars. We're going to these other planets, and you can see in photos like that it seems like, if you just objectively look at these pictures, it's like, I'll show you some of the pictures. It looks like I have this book, The Monuments of Mars. Okay, this is a wacky book, Josh. But it's a little bit interesting. Now, I'm not saying I believe everything in this book. No, but when you... I don't believe it. But when you look at these photos, and I'm showing you them on the screen now, tell me what that is.
That's a face.
That's a face. Look at this little city in direct line with this. Look at this. Look at this pyramid here. Now, that's not just any pyramid. Here, this does not happen normally, like in the world. This is not a normal shape.
Right,
this is an 1, 2.
Right,
this is a six-sided.
Yeah.
And it's got buttresses on each corner. There's
got
like
butts.
How can something have a pyramid flat surface on that many spots?
It
doesn't make any sense. And there were rivers on Mars. This is a known thing. You can see, like, I mean, NASA will tell you that this was habitable at some point. That's what they say. Habitable. But that's just the beginning of it. You know, we have these probes that went out to the different planets. Okay, yes. And then when it went to Saturn, went to Jupiter, all these places. But when they passed by Saturn, they took, Saturn has like hundreds of moons, and one Titan is actually bigger than Mercury. There's other ones that are like the size of planets. This one is a moon, and it's large, and I forget exactly what it's called, but I have it right here. Tell me that that's not the Death Star. Let me look at this thing. This has got this moon has a ridge that goes around.
Oh my word!
That goes around just like the Death Star.
And he couldn't have known. No,
he couldn't have. He couldn't have known it. This is one of the many moons, and this moon.
Gives me goosebumps.
I got a little clip here I wanted to play of the guy kind of explaining this. It seems so wacky when you hear him.
Just play the link.
It's this dude.
Now, the Star Wars movie that came out in '77, it portrays the Death Star, and it looks just like Iapetus. It looks very similar to Mimas and Deimos. And these are these moons that orbit the outer rings of Saturn. And I'm thinking to myself, is it just a coincidence, or was there previous knowledge and this is like a way to, I don't know, subconsciously bring it out to the masses? What's your take on that?
Interviewing him. This is the guy.
I think George Lucas is an insider. I think Star Wars is our real history. Let me repeat that. I think Star Wars is our real ancient galactic history, and everything else is fake. Everything else is made up. Everything else is just academia feeding us a line because we cannot, for all kinds of reasons, know the truth. And the reason that I think George Lucas is on the inside is because when you start comparing the data we're putting together on the solar system, the extraordinary high-tech civilization that once was here before us, the major modifications, not just of the surfaces of various planets, but the actual rearranging of planets.
Hold on. The Death Star blew up. So why would the moon be there?
I don't know. No. He's not. And if you watch, this is a long clip. It's 2 hours long. But I didn't watch the whole thing. But he very soon after this, he says, "I'm not saying that it's like literally our history, but it's like a hyperbolic, like crazy story of what it was like."
Okay.
But it wasn't like that. But like they were trying to give you a little insight, much like when they know the pandemic is going to happen, they do all these shows about like if a pandemic comes, this is what's going to happen. So that's what he's saying.
I got you.
He sounds crazy until he wants to get that clip.
Before it comes out that Star Wars really was our history, they put out the movie Star Wars to prepare the masses for the reality of lightsabers and Jedi.
But yeah, exactly. He's not saying there was lightsabers and stuff, but he's saying like, yeah, sure, there was intergalactic like travel. And there was like that. That's pretty much what he's saying.
All right, cool.
Hyperspeed. So that's my conspiracy. I'm not convinced, but this guy's been saying this since the 80s. This book was written in 87. So I haven't even read it. I just looked through it. But, so that's it.
All right. Completely reasonable. I buy it.
I buy anything now, man.
Okay, Jordan, have you heard about this documentary, Quiet on the Set?
No.
All right, so it's on HBO or Max or whatever it's called.
Did they change it? Max? HBO Max?
It's just Max now.
Okay.
Anyways, it's basically a 4-part expose on, Drake from Drake and Josh?
Oh, dude, he's gotten all sorts of stuff.
Dude.
He's like the kind of pedophile kind of situation?
No. What do you mean? What do you think?
No, he went to jail for exploiting children.
No.
Right? That's what they say.
No.
No, he did though. He went to jail.
He got probation or something.
But he was charged for that. He was texting. He was texting
a girl,
underage girls.
Yeah, he was texting a girl or something. But no, do you know what happened to him?
No, I don't know. I'm telling you what the mainstream media has told me. So I'm curious.
One of the the mainstream media told me this too. They made it. I know. Yeah, exactly. That's what my conspiracy theory is about.
Oh, okay.
The documentary basically tells the story from Drake's perspective.
Is he actually narrating this?
He's in it.
Okay.
I mean, he doesn't narrate it, but he's interviewed in it a lot. Basically, there was, I think, the guy was a script advisor or a script coach or something, and this dude just straight up did unspeakable things to Drake when he was a kid. Then this is before Drake and Josh. This is when he was on the Amanda Show.
Oh, wow. I didn't know he was on that.
So anything that you've seen of Drake and Josh, that was post him being like, all these terrible things.
Wow.
Every horrible thing imaginable. This guy, Brian Peck was the guy's name. And
Brian Peck is Drake, or that's the guy who did the bad things?
Brian Peck is the guy who did the bad things to Drake Bell. And so the whole documentary is just kind of explaining how the guys in charge at Nickelodeon, like the gross stuff they would put into these skits, hoping that they would get away with it, and like these sexual jokes and stuff, and all this stuff was also going on behind the scenes, and it was completely disgusting. But I think part of it, anyways. Well, let me start here first. This guy only got like a few years in jail. He ended up getting out of jail and then worked on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. So Disney hired him after he got
Yeah, exactly. All right. That's all we needed to know.
Isn't that crazy?
That's just unapologetically, he comes out, they just hire him.
Yeah. It was wild.
Insane.
So before I finished the documentary, I was telling Kelly, I was like, I think this is a situation where these kids, now that they have their own platforms, this didn't used to happen back in the day because, Shirley Temple, she wrote a book when she got old, and explain all the horrible things that happened to her. But these kids can go out and just like say, this is what's going on. So
there's more risk for somebody doing something bad to them.
Right. But it still happens.
Yeah.
And they did this stuff before. This stuff happened in the early 2000s when the internet was in its infancy.
Yeah.
Okay. So now everybody's got their own platform. Everybody's got their own. They're all influencers now or whatnot. They can come out and say, yeah, don't trust these companies, like the things that they do to kids. So now that puts these companies in this weird position where for all of existence, as long as they've been around, it's like, look, this is just what happens, okay? And we all just agree it's okay. One of the moms on the that was on set with her son on all that, they basically fired him because the mom was always on set saying like, you guys know that this is like a double meaning, right? Like this is a sexual joke. And and she said the attitude was always, it's fine. And if you always have, have you ever had a situation like that where like there's a joke happening and everybody is just acting like it's normal?
Yeah.
And maybe it's not like a sexual joke or something, but it's just, it makes you feel a little weird, but nobody else is reacting like it's weird. So you think, okay, well, I guess that is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But then if one person says, no, that's bad,
it kind of breaks everything.
It breaks the illusion or whatever.
Yeah.
But in this case, they just fired the kid because the mom was like being poo-pooing the set.
Interesting.
And so all this so for so long, Nickelodeon and the people in charge was just like, yeah, come on, this is what it is. And and everybody says, well, look, it has to go through standards and practices. It wasn't I wrote it, but they had to approve it. Well, yeah, because they're perverts too.
And then you have some lone mom trying to this whole bureaucracy. It's like, look, you just leave.
My theory is that now that this stuff is coming out, they have to have a fall guy.
Oh, so it's this guy.
Yeah, and not that he's not disgusting and didn't do all these horrible. Obviously, he did, and he should still be in jail. I'm just saying that it goes deeper than just this guy. And they talk about like two other guys too. But it's like Nickelodeon.
Now we solved it. We got rid of them.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's why they okayed this being made.
Yeah, well, I don't think Nickelodeon did. This is, but it's like at the point where there's a Max documentary about it.
Yeah.
That gets all this funding or what. It's not just like, the things that show up on these like Netflix documentaries. They're not making anybody in the establishment unhappy. It's not like he's like, how dare this can't get out there that Netflix made a true crime documentary that really told the story.
Yeah.
They're all getting the funding and all this stuff. So it's like, it's interesting now. It's like that point where the truth becomes so obvious that they can't hide it anymore. So they just kind of have to mitigate the damage. And it's like, it was that guy.
Yeah.
And it was that showrunner. They were the bad apples. We're good.
That makes sense.
That's how it feels to me. So I've been encouraged. I mean, not encouraged. This is a very sad thing that's happening. But I've been encouraged that other actors and actresses have that were not on Nickelodeon, that were on Disney or other channels, have come out and said this wasn't just a Nickelodeon thing.
Okay.
Like this stuff happened everywhere too, where everybody just felt like, and if it wasn't like specific, like, oh, kids were being violated, it was like the adults were putting us in situations that we were uncomfortable with, and we were all told, no, this is just normal.
Yeah.
And
you can definitely get that feeling watching old Nickelodeon shows.
And it makes you feel gross and dirty watching the documentary because they're showing these clips and it's like
just one after the other of all the weird
and it's like
meanings.
What's funny is we just watched the game shows growing up. We didn't watch the other
Double
shows.
Dare,
right?
Temple.
So I didn't know.
No.
And so it's just funny. It's like, thank you, Mom and Dad. For
they had that gut feeling sense of like
something's weird about this. Something's weird about this. So, anyways,
well, even if you go back and watch Drake and Josh, which is a hilarious show, if you go watch that, it's everywhere.
Oh,
the whole thing is just this weird kind of like sexual fantasy Like of the whole
That's
the
what they
entire
say.
show, it's all it is.
That's what they say. It's like
Yeah.
these guys had these weird.
Yeah, no, hey,
things,
let's
and
get
they're just
these
like,
kids
let's
to
get
talk
the kids
about.
that dude.
Yeah,
it's
that's what it
gross.
felt like.
It's gross.
And
man.
I told Sarah that I was like, I don't remember this show being like this. Yeah, but it was. Yeah, very
it was
weird.
in your brain, even if you didn't know it, but your brain did.
Exactly.
That's what they always say on Red Letter Media. You didn't catch it, but your brain did. Oh man, just
Well, let's get out of
disgusting.
this. Let's just get to it. Gave me hope. I'm done with this.
Finally.
Sick thoughts.
Last week on the podcast, we had a heart to heart about our channel and the podcast and I don't know, being former really popular people on YouTube that now has much more of just like sort of a community following.
Yeah, after
dedicated.
years of being on, it's like, okay, some people are going to fall to the wayside, but the people who really supported us for a long time, they're still here, and they are our supporters and our friends.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we were trying to say.
That was the idea. And we were talking about where we wanted the podcast and the channel to go in the future, kind of given the current state of things and how YouTube operates now.
We've kind of made the comedic sketches and stuff about the subjects that we wanted to make, given how we grew up and things we noticed. And now it's like, well, now we kind of want to talk about like just what's going on in like the culture and stuff, so that people out there who are like us are like, oh, I can relate to their takes on stuff.
Yeah.
You don't feel so alone.
Right. And we can still kind of talk about the same stuff that we did in those sketches,
Yeah.
but now we just do it in more of a podcast form, more than anything else. So anyways, it's always a little bit nerve-wracking to make a video like that, because kind of the fear, I'll be honest, the fear for me, I don't know if it's this way for you, but it's that people are going to say, yes, finally, they're talking about how things are. Let me help you fix your channel now, because I've noticed things are weird too. So here's what you need to do to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's always a bummer reading that stuff, because it's like, I know you're kind of right, but I don't want to do those things. Like, that doesn't sound fun to me. And so it becomes like this pressure of like, now it's not just in the back of my head. Now I'm being told, hey, here are the things you need to do to fix your channel, but I don't want to do those things. So does that make me lazy, or does that just make me old?
Well, and a lot of things that people were saying as like if there was a criticism, a helpful criticism, it was like, well, right, but we said that maybe you're talking about something that maybe happened in the first 5 minutes of the video that we then clarified later of like what we, and it was like, well, so if you watch the entire thing in context, it's not like we're sitting here making excuses about like, well, this happened and this is why.
I saw you replied to a comment.
Yeah, I said, well, if you watch the whole, like, I understood what he was saying. Like, oh, it sounds like you're making excuses.
Yeah,
and it's like,
well, just so people know, the comment said something to the effect of, this seems like you're kind of making excuses for not wanting to do the things it takes to stay relevant or popular on YouTube.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Except we're not making excuses for it. We're just saying like, well, this is just how it is now on YouTube, and we're not really willing to kind of go down what you have to do now on YouTube to try and get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views on like more comedy-based stuff.
Right.
And we're kind of overdoing that in a way. Not necessarily, but it's like things have changed, and if you're willing to do those things and go down that route, and
it's like we've gotten older, we've been doing this a long time, and the things you have to do to stay relevant and popular on YouTube all feel like, to some degree, things that degrade society to some degree.
And it didn't. Yes, exactly. And it didn't feel like it was that when we started our channel. It felt like, oh, this is I don't even know how to describe it, but it having created videos for this long, there is a difference. It's like post-COVID, after COVID. Like there's a shift that happened, and you don't know where exactly it happened, but there's some shift that happened, and now. It's just that everything needs to be short and quick, and you've got a few seconds to pull people in, and I get that, like, and obviously, like, sometimes when I edit the podcast, I'll put a little like quick clip of like what the show is going to be. Like I'm doing that because I'm trying to pull people in, but it's like I'm trying to pull you into an hour-long show. I'm not trying to
pull you in to a 15-second clip that you're gonna forget in 10 seconds.
Right, that you're just sitting there with your baby who's feeding, and you're just scrolling through 100 different videos. And it's like, what are you even doing with your life? Like,
I'm just killing my attention span over and over.
And it really used to not feel that way.
Right.
It used to feel you would come, you would have an experience, and then you would go live your life. Now it's like, this is the experience. This is all I'm doing.
Right.
And it really has shifted. And that's... So I agree with the person that we don't really want to do what it takes to have a channel that gets 1 million views every video. But
like if we look into that, great. But
yeah, like that'd be awesome. But
nope, a lot of the things that you're told to do to make that happen.
If you research and stuff, it's like, okay, this is unnatural. That's what it feels. And it literally could be. I told Sarah, I was like, and that honestly is because we're older. Part of that is because if we were kids and we were like used to Instagram and all this stuff, it'd be like, oh, so we just integrate this with this, and then we can get people to, like this would not even be a thought.
Right.
But maybe it should be a thought if we grew up with all of this other technology. It's like, well, maybe you're so blinded to it because it's so normal to you, but like maybe if you really think about it, it's like, is this even like what we should be doing?
Right.
Or,
yeah.
I don't know. It's
like talking to a grandparent or something about like, it's like, man, you really don't know how to use a computer? Like, couldn't you just sit down for a day or two and learn it? Well, no, because your entire life, you know that you can operate without computers.
Yeah, so why would you? It does in your mind. You don't feel that desperate need to.
Yeah, it's
that urge to like.
We've
okay,
always had computers, so it's like I didn't have to learn how to use a computer. It's just a part of my life. That's a very good. That's a good point.
But I do agree with some sentiments out there. It's like, well, I do think that we could do stuff to help optimize more what we're doing. That's not even like in our minds would be. Not a negative morally. It's just like, okay, well, if we sit down and come up with some stuff we could do.
And you posted an Instagram reel.
Yeah, that was.
It was like what 90 seconds long.
Yeah, so it was basically. I cut it down so you could get the gist of the question, and then I cut it down so you get the gist of my answer. And a lot of people commented from that. I was curious because I know a lot of people are on Instagram now, and I was curious if there would be people who were like, "Oh, I completely forgot about you. Like this just randomly popped up," and that's what happened. Yeah. So I'm hoping that it will, bring them to the channel and watch our longer form stuff. And it seemed like it was going to. So
yeah. So there you go. Hopefully that makes sense to people. I don't know. It is hard talking about this stuff, and yeah. But the reason it gave me hope is that there were a lot of comments that were really cool about it, and most people, even if they had criticism, like they were cool about it.
Yeah.
I was just going to read a couple of them. I used to watch Blimey Con videos when I was homeschooled. Now that I'm an adult, it's nice to listen to the podcast while doing other tasks. I liked this guy's comment. He said, in quotes, "I feel like if I met these guys, they wouldn't hate me." Because that's what we said last week on the podcast. That was the vibe we were going for with the show. Like, we want people to feel like we wouldn't, like... you watch so many things and you're like, I like this show, but I feel like if these people knew me, they wouldn't
if I met Casey Neistat in real life, he would just like judge me so much for views and things that I have.
So John says, that's exactly the vibe I get from this channel. A lot of people can relate while listening as the world gets more and more crazy. Let's see. I don't actually know what this comment says. I'm just going to read it and we'll respond. YouTube is so big now and the algorithm doesn't really show you things you used to watch. It shows you more of what you are currently into. There are so many YouTube channels I'm subscribed to that I haven't seen notifications for in forever, but I'd still watch them if it was suggested to me. And that, that goes to what we were talking about too, is like there's just so much. There's so much stuff on YouTube now.
Yeah. And a lot of it, and you can watch one YouTube channel, and then you could easily find another YouTube channel that is saying the same thing just in a different way. Whereas before it was like there were a few channels and they all had different avenues and they were all saying different things. It was like, oh, if I want to do this kind of comedy, I'll go here. If I want this kind of thing, I'll go here. And now that's not even like an excuse. Like that's just objective fact that is watered down more.
Yeah.
So sure, there's things that you can do to optimize, but like at the end of the day, like there are more channels doing the same thing.
Right. It's just more saturated now.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm glad that a lot of people are able to do this for a living because it's great.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I know that's the thing too. When we talk about this stuff, it's like, oh, I miss the good old days where there were fewer people on YouTube. It's like, no, this is great. We've always encouraged people to
make their own content. We really have.
Like I said, I'll take as few views as possible as long as I can still do this for a living. There's no part of me that's like, man, I just want to get millions of views per video or whatever. Like even you, like the joke is that you want to get 10,000 views on something. That's like, especially now that that's just like such a conservative number of things. It's like, but that I don't know. I don't know. The comments were just really, really nice. We are going to make some changes though. We've talked about that. We haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Maybe. We're still figuring it all out.
We don't want to chase, as much as this is our job, there is a way to do YouTube without chasing views and building a community. And somebody was like, that's the perfect explanation for modern church. You don't care about reaching a mass audience. You just want to build a small community, and then it slowly dies. That's kind of like what they were trying to say.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, yeah, but there is something about having a local church that
to me,
is
that's what
for
church
your
should
community.
Be. Yeah, church. I mean, truthfully, to me, churches should be house churches. Like you shouldn't go to some building.
I am turning more into that. That seems like at the end of the day, you've got your neighbors. Like in a perfect world,
right?
You've got your 10 houses around you. You all meet up. And you taking care of each other. And
you get together for like a block party or like potlucks or whatever. That's
an ideal world. It's not the ideal world. Is not having a mega church where 3,000 people are coming
from
in.
like 4-5 cities.
We saw where that ended. That happened in the 90s. And where these huge, huge, and I think people long for that because like, oh man, that's like when DC Talk came out. That's when like the Christian industry was like good, but it's like, yeah, but look where it ended us up.
Right.
Like we had these youth groups. Now everyone is deconstructing their life because it was all about all this stuff that now politicians have construed in different ways to kind of like make the masses be,
you should have been talking about how math proves God.
Talk about something real.
Yeah.
And now... Anyway, so
they were so interested in like getting as many people in a church as possible.
Make the message as big as possible so that you can convert more people. But it's like, but then everybody just falls away and nothing happens.
Right.
This has happened many times in the United States.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. I feel like that's like the ideal is to have like a small community of people that you're not pandering to this massive audience that you're like, we're going to do what we believe is right. And then if success comes, great. If it doesn't come, great. But we're also going to do the best that we can.
Try to optimize things as best you can without sacrificing your
morals. And we don't want people to be on the computer and their phones so much.
Right.
We feel very torn.
That is tough because that is a lot of what our channel is about is like,
Exactly.
But I do like doing the podcast because in theory you could just like listen to it.
While you're driving, while you're doing laundry, which will actually get into my recommended.
In your AirPods while you're walking through Walmart.
Walking through Home Depot, 35, you're doing it.
Not listening, not paying attention to anybody, just in your own little zone.
I hope that explained that a little bit more.
Who knows? I hope so too. I always worry about it explaining ourselves. I always feel like I don't do a good job, and then you did a good job though.
So
you saved it.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Well, yeah, good.
All right. One more thing to do, and we must recommend some things.
So Sarah is a bit down for the count because she's pregnant, and there's some complications. Hopefully things resolve, but she's not necessarily on bed rest, but she is, we're monitoring how much she's doing, unfortunately. So I've really stepped up with cleaning and different things like that. And so I get very stressed out because it's like, laundry just builds up. It's always built up at our house, just like everybody, most people. And I was like, what do I have to do so that this isn't a stress and I can manage it, but also at the same time, like it kind of brings joy in some way? Mm-hmm. How can I convert this from being this terrible stress to be like, oh, everything's clean. It feels amazing without having to do stuff for like, when laundry piles up, you could be sitting there folding that for like an hour and a half. Easy. And I'm trying to put it all away. So I was like, just do laundry every single day. every day. And even if it's a little bit, you know, it's not using up that much water. You flush the toilet more than that.
Yeah.
Like people always whine about that. It's like,
Yeah.
you flush the toilet more. Just when you pee, don't flush. And then the next person comes and then just flush it. If you're worried that much, just do that. So anyways, just doing laundry every day and then waking up and it's dry. And then you just take 10 minutes to fold what's there.
Yeah.
And you're done. It's like, just the greatest thing. It's like this revolutionary thing that is not revolutionary. Josh, you recommended is the Delta app. So you've been traveling.
No, and I knew you were going to make that very joke. Jordan,
Don't get on those Southwest Max, whatever they are.
check this out. This app is called Delta. This is not a hack.
What the?
This is not a hack. I've not jailbroken my phone. This is
Are you
actually an
recording
app.
this?
I am recording this for you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this
No.
is Super
The
Metroid,
greatest game of all time.
running on my iPhone. This app is called Delta, and then I can't point you in the direction of ROMs. That would be illegal. But you can find ROMs.
Let me ask
somewhere.
you this. Can I play Sunset Riders?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me ask you this. Can I play Kirby's Dream Course?
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this. Can we play multiplayer?
I don't think
I
so.
didn't think so.
No. But anyways, the App Store just changed their rules about ROMs and emulators or something, and so now it's there. So go download it now before the rules change again. I don't know. But yeah, you can play SNES games. All right? You can finally play SNES games without jailbreaking your phone.
Cool.
There you go.
Wow, that was I feel like that was one of our greatest episodes ever.
I
I
agree.
really do. Thank you guys. This is going to be our longest episode yet. Probably
Most
not.
likely.
Will it?
I think it will. Probably will.
I'm going to go play pinball. Josh got a machine. We'll see ya.